we're not making enough for the work that we're doing, specifically in women's volleyball, compared to our counterparts at the Power 5 conferences, even in women's basketball.
The pay inequality amongst female and male college coaches has been an increasing issue over the past few decades. As more money and higher salaries went into college sports, more men became interested in coaching women's teams. The pay inequality gap has widened greatly, and there are many different opinions on why, though there is one that seems to stand out from the others.
I think the main reason behind the pay gap between men's coaches and women's coaches, across the board at any level for any sport is money.
It is about making money, and football and basketball, they make more money.
Universities are going to pump more money into the programs that are potentially going to give the most revenue back to university. So with that, most universities is men's basketball, football, and baseball.
In a lot of schools, women's sports are generally not seen as revenue sports. They simply aren't bringing in as much money as their male counterparts, and this plays in greatly to the pay gap. Eric Musselman, Nevada's men's basketball coach, earns a base salary of $1 million for the season, but can earn up to $300,000 in bonuses. Included in his package, he also gets a free loaned car, membership to a country club, and 12 season tickets in basketball. On the other hand, Amanda Levins, Nevada's women's basketball coach, earns a base salary of $190,000 and can earn only up to $133,000 in bonuses. Levins also gets a $500 monthly automobile stipend, membership to a country club, and 8 basketball season tickets. In 1972, Title IX was passed, which required colleges to provide equal opportunities for men and women in sports. While it was designed to increase women's participation in sports, the percent of female college coaches has actually decreased from 90% to 40%.
Title IX has done wonders for women's sports, women's athletics, especially in providing opportunity for student athletes. I think it has a ways to go when it comes to the pay gap for the coaching staffs.
Title IX has improved it in areas. I still think that there's a long ways to go in some areas, in some disregards, but overall I think there's been subtle improvements made along the way that have helped women's programs get to where they are today.
Though money is a key factor in the pay gap, another major element is the lack of popularity of women's sports.
I think a lot of it has to do with maybe the connections that you're making with those actual players. Are they in classes? Are they building relationships with their peers? Are they inviting them to come to the games? Are we out advertising on campus? Are we making ourselves like a public figure?
I think winning has a lot to do with it, but I also think that getting our coaches out in the community and showing interest with that, trying to get strong ties back to the community. We actually had a meeting.
The pay gap has a long way to go, and while it may seem like it is still a big issue, the gap is slowly starting to close, and women are still making a bigger name for themselves in the world of coaching.
The support is getting there, and the notoriety is getting there, and as of late there's been a lot of push for that in the women's sports, all across the board.
I think it's something that doesn't get talked about enough, and hopefully bringing it to the forefront, educating people about the issue will hopefully close the gap. I think you should get paid for the work that you're doing, regardless if you're male or female. And you definitely see a huge gap in women's athletics.